Good evening, everyone. It is me, the fabulous Leo Brown, and I'm on here once again with a psychic's perspective. Today's psychic perspective is a personal favorite for many. People really have gravitated to this group, to these women, to these ladies. And I'm talking about the Queen's Court, which is Madison Hinton, also known as T.S. Madison, and Kaya Shimon, also known as Kaya. Okay, the Misses. Okay, so I wanted to do a psychic's perspective on them and on their show and their brand and see what's in store for them. Now, before I begin, I want to give my personal opinion. Now, you may not agree with it. You don't have to. Okay, everybody has an opinion. Opinions are like a-holes. We all have them. Some stink, some are rosy, some are dark, some are light. It don't matter. Some get bleached. Okay, but we all have them. So here's my opinion on the Queen's Court. So, my opinion on the Queen's Court is I think it's good. I think what they're doing, I think people need to understand, and even I had to understand this because I will admit in the beginning I was not a fan. I was like, okay, really? What you doing? You know what I mean? Like in the beginning I didn't really get it. And then one day I sat down and I watched it and I was like, okay, I get this. It's like a sketch. It's like a comedy show. You know, you're just as they say, roasting and gagging about current events, about celebrities, um, kind of in the vein of like the Charlemagnes or the Howard Sterns or people like the shock jocks, you know. And if you understand humor and you don't get offended, then it's very funny. Now, if you don't understand humor and you don't or that type of humor, then you're gonna get offended. You're gonna feel some kind of way. Because then you're gonna be like, well, what the fuck? All you doing is talking shit about people, and I can see that because in the beginning that's what I thought. I was like, okay, all they doing is gagging, talking about folks, and all that kind of stuff. But they're doing what works, and let's be real. We live in a culture and in a society where quote unquote bad behavior is rewarded, and I don't fault them for doing what they do, and it's gotten them attention. It's allowed them to uh, rebuild their brand and reinvent themselves. It's allowed them to make money. It's allowed them to it's allowed other doors to open to them that maybe before they didn't have. So I don't fault them for it. I think to Kaya and to Maddie, do your thing, honey. Make your money. And I would love to be invited. I think it'd be awesome. But anyway, um, but no, in the beginning I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. Whereas now, I like to think I've grown since then. Now I get it. I get what they're doing. And one day I actually sat down and I watched the after show. And the after show is completely different. They're calmer, they're more not demure, but they're more like it's not that they're not genuine when they're doing the Queen's Court, but it's more real. It's more like you can tell they're just two friends, two sisters just hanging out, just doing their thing. And I was like, oh, okay. And that's when it clicked to me. I was like, wait a minute, this is comedy. This is a brand of comedy. And if you don't understand that, then yeah, you are gonna get offended. So that's my opinion on the Queen's Court. I think the Queen's Court is awesome for what it is. I don't hate it. Um, I think that they're doing well, I don't want to say that they're doing anything that's any different from like a Wendy or an Andy Cohen. I don't think so. I think their brand of humor is different from that. But hey, I don't fault them. Love to y'all. So, okay. So now I'm gonna give you my psychic's perspective. Now I've given you my opinion on the Queen's Court. I'm gonna give you my psychic's perspective on them and for them and what I pick up and see around them. So stay tuned as I, the fabulous Leo Brown, gives you his perspective, his psychic perspective on the Queen's Court. See you soon.
J-Love, baby.
Is it on? Is it on, honey? Is this thing recorded? What's up, YouTube land?
Alrighty, here we go. So here's what I picked up for the Queen's Court from a psychic perspective. So let's see what the cards have to say, because the cards never lie, as my girl Cleo would say. Rest in peace, Cleo. Okay. All right, honey. So here we go. Here's what we got. Okay. So the first card that actually stuck out to me regarding this whole thing, and let me also say this because I'm also doing this in response to what happened with the whole Monique interview, what happened a couple days ago, and people have just been running with that. So I'm not gonna lie, I am doing it in response to that as well. But I also will say this, I am intrigued by what may be going on and what I psychically may see for them and with them. So the first thing that pops out, that really pops out to me, is that a lot of what they're going through, I get a lot to do with communication, whether it be verbal, whether it be written, and I feel like it's both, because I get something to do with paperwork or contracts, contractual obligations around them as well. So I'm picking up a mix of that. I'm also getting that the wires have been crossed. Like, here's the thing. Maddie and Kaya are definitely friends. But what I get around me is that the wires have been crossed. It feels, what I keep hearing is shift, or things have shifted a little bit. Not that they're not friends, that's not what I'm saying, but more of like, I feel like one person's on chapter 2, one person's on chapter 5. And I'll be honest, I don't know who that person or persons may be, but I just feel like there's some, because of that, they're like, it's like doing this, they're doing that. And communicatively, wires have gotten crossed a little bit. What I get around Maddie is that Maddie is at a point, it's not only that she wants growth, but Maddie is a perfectionist. Maddie's a Libra through and through. She really is more of like, it's not that I want, I do want things to grow, but I want it to be just so. I kind of get like an OCD thing when it comes to this. This is very important to her, not just because it allows her to communicate with her fans and followers, but also it allows her to expand her brand and platform. And she really is about that. And she's been about that for at least, I get the number 6, so I want to say 2 to 6 years. That's been her goal. She wants to be not just she wants to be a mogul, because I'm hearing mogul in my head. I keep hearing it over and over. She wants to be a mogul. So I'm getting a lot of that. And the card that keeps sticking out to me is this one, the 8 of Swords. So what this is telling me, 8 of Swords deals with strength, but in this case, it deals with communication. So in this case, it's telling me that there's a lot of things that have not been said. And I get not necessarily to each other as friends, but I kind of get like with their camps. There's something going on where the truth hasn't been told. Not that somebody's lying, but you know how you kind of keep a lot of what you really feel to yourself? That's what I'm getting with this. And because of that, it's caused a lot of dissension. It's caused a lot of argumentativeness between the two of them a little bit. And I also get that mentally it's been frustrating for both of them, because they both want the same things, but they just want it in different ways. And what I get around Miss Kaya is that Kaya is more of like, okay, if we're going to do it, let's do it right. But at the same time, I kind of get with Kaya. Kaya's like, I don't want to do just any old thing. I don't want to do just any old thing just because it's popping or popular. Kaya's just more of like, well, if it's not broken, let's not fix it. That's where Kaya's at. Kaya's just more of like, well, let's just do the show. Let's just do the damn thing. I don't care about celebrities. If they notice it, great. If they don't, that's fine too. I don't care. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that I kind of get there with her. My God, I would say maybe 12. I get the number 12 around me, like 12 years ago. She's had a lot of stops and starts. They both have. But I get in particular with her, she's had a lot of bridges burned. And she's just like, I'm in the industry, but I'm not of it. That's where she's at. And that's why it's not that Kaya wants to be in the industry. Kaya just wants, or not Kaya, it's not that Madison wants to be in the industry. Madison just wants to get a foot in the door more. And Kaya's just more like, well, fuck that. I don't care. It's not about that for me. So that's where they kind of bump heads a little bit. Let's see. Also, what I get around me is that, now, here's what I'm picking up around me. What I'm getting up around me that will help the situation with them is they both need to sit down. Not only them, but I keep getting like their people. They both need to sit. They all need to sit down. All parties need to sit down and just hash stuff out. That will help them a lot because not that it's so bad. Let me make that very clear. But I feel like in terms of goals, in terms of what they want, because I do pick up that within the next, I would say even 2 to 5 months from now, I get the numbers 2 and 5. It's going to grow even more. And I feel like networks have definitely approached them. I want to say at least 4 to maybe 6 have approached them about doing something. And I kind of get them being like on the red carpet is what I'm picking up around them. So I feel like they've got some things in the running. They got some things in the pipe. They really do. But I definitely pick up that before you guys become, and I'm saying this directly to Maddie and to Kaya, before you get to that point, to that level where you're doing big and better things, y'all need to hash stuff out. You need to really just lay everything on the table, what you want, what you don't want to do, what you won't do, what you will do, things like that. Because if you don't, it's going to hurt you in the end. And granted, it may be hurtful to hear that you both have different goals and different aspirations, but it's going to be needed. Okay? Because I really feel like that's what I'm picking up around me is that there's a lot of communication issues here. Not that they don't talk, but it's more of when you don't say what you really and truly feel. You're not speaking your truth. And that's when I kind of get around them. And I could be wrong because I'm human, but that's what I'm picking up around this. But what will help the situation a lot is just speaking your truth and being unfiltered and uncensored with each other. And not on camera. Let's see. Now I'm gonna go back a little bit because I'm gonna go back a lot with the past and kind of what's going on now. Now for the past, I pick up the King of Cups and and let me just say this too. The card that I saw that would help them is the Three of Swords. So let me put that in there. I forgot to say that. So the card that's in the past is the King of Cups. The King of Cups is dealing with wise counsel. It's dealing with your emotion. It's dealing with how you feel. What this tells me is that in the beginning of the newness, everything was great. They were in great places with each other. They really counseled one another as friends, as business associates. They really made it work. They made it into a well-oiled machine. And I'm kind of getting it in a way you may need to go back to that formula, to where in the beginning it was just about we just want to have fun and we just want to enjoy it, and if it becomes big, great. If it doesn't, fine. You know what I mean? Go back to that. You may want to go back to the core of that, and that will help you guys so much. And this is kind of a side note, but I'm seeing that with you, Miss Kaya, I do pick up touring coming up. Actually, with both of you, I feel you guys are going to do like a tour, like a joint tour, or it's being worked out or talked about. I feel like you guys are doing that as well. So you got some good things coming your way. You're good. You're in a good space. And that's my phone ringing, y'all. Hold on for just a second. Okay, I will call him back. I will call him back when I'm done. Okay. Now getting back to where things are now and where things are going to be in the future. The two cards I get around me are the Emperor and the Hangman. So the Emperor and the Hangman. The Hangman basically is that changes are going to happen. And they're happening. But it's going to be slow. Slow and steady wins the race. And the Emperor is in reverse. So what this means is that even though things are happening and things are changing, they may feel like, okay, it's happening, it's changing, but not changing fast enough, and we don't feel like we have control over it anymore. And I think that's where the communication issues are coming in at too, because they feel like, okay, things are happening, but it's a lot of shoulda, coulda, woulda on top of, okay, they're happening, but we feel as if it's out of our hands. We're not driving the car anymore. So, and I kind of get that's where Kaya is. I don't know why, but I kind of feel like that's what it is with her. She feels like, okay, it's happening, but like, yeah, we're getting what we want, but we are not in the driver's seat. Somebody else is. And I feel like with her, she doesn't want that anymore. And I could be wrong, but that's like, yeah, I kind of get that maybe that's why when it came to the whole Monique situation, she was like, no, I'm not doing this. And that's why she walked away. Now, granted, was it a little unprofessional on her end? Yes, but if you look at it from another perspective, you can understand why she did what she did and why she did it. And I don't think it was what she did, it was maybe the way she went about it. That's just my opinion on that. My personal opinion. But psychically, I definitely feel like things are definitely going to change. And I kind of get like, I do see them rebuilding their communication. It's not going to be easy. But I do see them doing it. And what I get is that it's going to expand, it's going to grow. But I don't want to say I see a breakup, but I'll say this. If they're not careful with the way they talk to each other, and not just in friends, but even in business and with their camps, then it could lead to something really bad. That's what I'm going to say, because that's what I'm getting for some reason. And I would definitely say try to repatch your relationship, hatch it up, hash it out, one, and then try to regain the control that you once had. Because I feel like that's what the problem is too. You guys feel like, okay, we have it, but it's become bigger than us. The Queen's Court has become the Queen's Court. And in the beginning, it was just two friends having a good time, acting a fool. And now it's props and all this kind of stuff. So I can kind of see that. But I would definitely say the relationship that they have, and even the show, it definitely is salvageable, but it just needs to be retweaked a little bit. So that's my perspective on it. What do you think? What do you think about the Queen's Court? Do you feel that it's going to survive? Do you think it's going to keep going? Would you rather see Maddie and Kaya be solo like they were before? Because you got to remember they started doing blogs and stuff separate, and then eventually they formed a friendship and they started doing it together. So what do you think about it? What do you feel? If you want, leave your comments below. I do read them all, and I thank you guys so much for tuning in and for watching my video. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.